Hi everyone. It seems like we're having a problem with Comcast internet. I don't know what's happening here, but we're trying to stay on, so hopefully I will. I'll get started with answering a few questions that I've already gotten. Some of these are from Suzanne, and they're really good questions. Her first question was, how does it feel to be an author working for Lake Union, and how does it feel different than what I've been doing, which is kind of self-publishing, although we have a company and it's a set-up publisher and everything, but still it's not the same as going through a traditional publisher like Lake Union. It's very different. First of all, when we do things ourselves, boom, 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 I'm done. And, after I finish writing a book and have it edited, we go through all the same steps, but just at a different pace. And instead of when I write my own books, I have one editor. And she's great. She does a fantastic job and everything, and I never get any complaints. But Lake Union does it differently. They have several editors. They have the one who decides to buy your book, and then from there you go to a developmental editor, and she goes through the entire story. And it's been quite a process because, you have a book and you think it's finished, and it is really. It could go to market exactly like it is. But then they go through it and they think, well, what about if we expand this, and what about if we cut this? At my party on Thursday, we're giving visitors some of the cut scenes, because some of the cut scenes, deleted scenes, were actually very charming. They were mostly about Megan and her dad, and what they did was, the developmental editor did, was she said, I'd like to see the rescue of socks come closer to the beginning. So that's why some of those scenes were cut. But they were great scenes. It's just that she wanted the reader to be able to get right to the core of the story the first thing. So that was really an interesting thing for me. It was interesting to go through that experience. And then after it goes to the developmental editor, that's only the beginning. It's a month back and forth between myself and the developmental editor. And then after that, it goes to a proofreader and a line editor and a person who checks the timeline to make sure I don't have a time span that's events happening in a time span that's either too great or too small. So all those wonderful things have happened. And it's just been, it's very different, but it's very exciting. And I'm having a lot of fun, to tell you the truth. The people at Amazon, Lake Union, I should say, are just awesome to work with. They're so thoughtful and so cooperative. And when we first the first cover they came up with, oh, darn, damn it. Oh, geez, I guess it did. It just said my other video was uploaded. Well, I'm hoping this one stays uploaded. Hi there, Julie. Hi, Judy. It's good seeing you gals. I wish I'd pop up all these things on this computer so I could see them and see who all's here. So there is a big, big difference in working with Lake Union and working on my own. And both are nice. I mean, both have their place, and I've enjoyed this ride so far, and being with Lake Union's a lot of fun. So I'm hoping for big things. One wonderful thing that was really of interest to me was, hi there, Linda, I see you're back, and Jean Lowe, hi. Let's see, Carla, Suzy, oh, Suzy, hi, how are you? Suzy and Linda are both awesome book reviewers, and they are the ones that's hosting this party and making it possible for me to be here with you today. So one of the things that I really was looking forward to in being with Lake Union is they have a huge audience. They have the whole world as an audience. I only have a small portion of it. And it's not because one book is good and one book isn't or anything. The thing is that you just don't have the reach to be able to get out and reach those people. Hi, Mindy. I said, Jill, hi, how are you? So that was a real plus for me in going with Amazon. And I'm happy so far. So we'll, I think it's going to be great. And I'm working with a wonderful editor there. She's very thoughtful. And she has a dog too. So she and I connected right away. Now, Suzy's second question is, how do you come up with fresh ideas for your stories? it comes from a different place every single time. The other day, someone asked me in an interview, how do you take on the project of starting a series? It's such a big thing. You look at a whole series. If I looked at a whole series, I'd never get started, probably. I never started to write a series. I always had one story in mind that I wanted to tell. Either it's because I loved a character, or I loved the concept of a story or something, but I always had just that one story in mind. But in writing that story, I found that there were these side characters that came in, and they were just so interesting. I'm thinking, that's a story in itself. And lo and behold, it was. So one story grew into a lot of stories, but they're not necessarily the same. And in some ways, there's only a thin thread of connection to them. Like in the Wyattsville series, is the town. That's the primary connection. But every now and then, characters from other stories pop in. So, but it's not just a family. Hi, can you say hi to my 4-year-old granddaughter, Piper? Yes, hi, Piper. I doubt Piper's a big reader yet, but she will be one day, hopefully, right? Hi, Tony. Hi, Lisa Ann. Now I'm getting them. Hooray. Now I'm getting them, someone on the big screen. So when I wrote Spare Change, the idea for that story came about because we'd taken a vacation and we were on a driving trip, and we went to visit these friends that live on the eastern shore of Virginia. And I swear it's the most deserted place on earth. There was this. I'm basically pretty much of a city girl, and there's this long road that stretches the whole length of the island, and we're driving it, and I'm not seeing any shopping centers or any stores. There's a couple of gas stations and I think a food mart, but outside that, there wasn't much else on that road. So I thought, geez, a murder could take place out here and no one would know. And that was kind of the beginning of that story. And then I just built my characters around it. And the little boy in that book reminds me of my mom. That's why I made him such a rascal. She was pretty hard. Hi, Sue. She was a handful herself. And Lisa Ann, hi, how are you? Tony? Let's see, can you say, okay, I said hi to Piper already. So that was that book. This particular book, I don't think there's a person who's seen me on Facebook who doesn't know I'm really crazy about dogs. I do. I like everything about dogs. And my little pumpkin is right under my desk right now. And she's coming to the party on Thursday, but she really needs to be groomed, so she's hiding out today. But I love rescue dogs, and I thought, gee, that would be a really neat story to write about a rescue dog. Hi, Sherry. What is your favorite book of all time, and how did it influence your writing? I don't know that I have a favorite book. I bounce around. I love reading something from a new author that I haven't read before. And I don't have like one single favorite book. And what influenced my writing most is reading really good books. Reading good books. If I read them, everything I read teaches me something, even books that are not very good, because when I read a book that's not very good, what happens is I see what I didn't like in that book. I see that the heroine was whiny, or that there was too much description about the drapes and the carpet and the sofa. And so when I see things like that, it sticks in my mind that I didn't like it. And if I don't like it, chances are good that the other readers won't either. What kind of dog is my dog? Oh, Anne has a golden doodle. No, ours is a Bichon, a fluffy white Bichon. I'm sure you've seen pictures of her on my Facebook page. But back to the Summer of New Beginnings. So I started with the idea that I wanted a girl to rescue a dog. And then I thought, well, just one girl, that's not an interesting enough story. So I looked at my own self and my sister, and I decided that what I really wanted to do is 2 sisters. And one of them has different problems and everything and rescues the dog. And before I knew it, I built that story out. And it quite came about by I don't know, just growing into Tracy's baby and what was wrong with it. I knew it couldn't just be that she had a baby and came home, because that's not enough. I like stories that are really meaty, that let you get into the characters and you're really rooting for them. You're like, oh, I hope they get out of this okay. But that's the kind of stories I like, so it's the kind of stories I try to do. Is there a certain time of day you enjoy writing better? I think I write best in the morning, and which is really funny because I'm not a morning person. But in the morning I get up and I usually go for a walk. It's like about a 3-mile walk. Sometimes I'll do 5 if I'm feeling really, really energetic. But when I'm walking, I really think about what I'm writing and what I'm going to write that day. And I get so into the head of the characters. I feel everything that they feel. I can evaluate, like, if they're going through a hard time or if they're happy, I can feel that. And once I do that, then I come home, and I try not to get on the internet, because to tell you the truth, once I get on Facebook, I'm gone. I mean, I start chatting with friends and that's the end of it. But, so I come home and usually I'll work straight on through. Sometimes if I'm on a roll, I'll work till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Even my husband says, are you coming to dinner or not? But sometimes, it just doesn't flow. And if the words aren't magical, I don't have a word goal every day. If the words aren't magical, I just walk away. I go for another walk, or I make myself a cup of tea, or I just go over to Facebook and hang out. Because I think sometimes you can't really force it to be good. And some days it's magical and the words just, everything falls into place. It's like putting a puzzle together. And all of a sudden you see the one piece that makes everything else fit. It's kind of like that when you're writing too. So I don't push myself into a word goal per day, because all I ask of myself is that every word I write be meaningful and good. And after that, it's okay if I don't. Some days I write 500 words, and some days I write 3,000 or 4,000. But I just always want them to be good. That's the important thing to me, because if you don't, you just end up that you'll finish that book and it won't be so important. And besides, each time I start with reading over what I wrote the day before or the few days before. Hi, Maggie May. She likes dogs, too. Everybody likes dogs. It's a real weakness of mine. How can you not like a dog? They love you unconditionally. It doesn't matter how cranky you are. It doesn't matter if you have no makeup on. It doesn't matter if you stink. They still love you. So how can you not like a dog? And you know what? I know plenty of people who have cats and feel the same way about it. And they say that you just have to get to know them. Let's see. I am loving to hear about how you get your ideas to write about books. I wish I had more even. So yeah, they come about usually it's some small thing. Some life instance that triggers a thought that, gee, what if this happened in a slightly different way? Or what if this was just the start of what happened, and then what happened after that was the really good thing? So, it comes about all different ways, and I try to remember things that have made an impact on me, so that I can use those things in when I'm working on a story to make it very realistic. I have a sign that says, "Beware of what you say. I'm an author, and anything you say may be used in a book," and it's true. Let's see. Who do you base your characters on? This one's good. Everybody. You might be in a book. I do. I base my characters on it. It's like a compilation of all the people I know, all the different people. They might have, once a girl in my book club said, that man has the most interesting eyebrows. And right away I said, eyebrows? Well, it's like, okay, that's one I'm going to have to remember, because you usually describe their eyes, but not their eyebrows. But I think it's like all different traits that I pull from other people. And even myself, I do too. I have a lot of quirks, and I'll do dopey things that, I think, oh, that's funny, and I use it in a book, because I'm a real person, and these are real people to me in the books. So I love I am loving to hear how you get your ideas to write about books. So I try to make the people as real as I possibly can. And if I give them real characteristics that I've seen or experienced from someone else, they come across that way. So I take a lot of characteristics from my mom. She was such a great person, and I just loved her with all my heart. And she was a storyteller. She was such a storyteller. I mean, really, I think that's where I get my storytelling ability. But she wasn't a writer at all. But I get a lot of ideas just from the things that she would do, and I kind of can picture her doing this, that, or the other thing. Carla, you asked, am I working on the next book? Actually, you know what? I just finished, almost finished. I have a couple more days. Almost finished the editing of the next book. This is the developmental edits that I talked about before. And the next book is the sequel to this, and it's really good. As you know, it seems almost impossible to believe, and maybe it's just because I was working on this, but I said, oh, wow, this is really better even. But, you know, it's because I already know the characters, so, of course, you know, they're dear to my heart now. But this next book is really great. You'll love it. It's called A Year of Extraordinary Moments. So that'll be coming out in October. Let's see what else. I know you said you based one on your characteristics on your sister. No, I had two sisters, Suzy. This is from Suzy Homemaker. Suzy, I have two sisters. One is still alive, and one unfortunately passed away very young from smoking. So I'm very anti-smoking. I don't know if you've ever read my book, Blueberry Hill, but that's a story of my sister that I lost. I made it like a fictionalized memoir because I don't like sometimes to read sad biographies and, oh, I did this and then I did that and then I did this. So I wrote it more like a work of fiction. But my sister Donna was just the most fun ever. I mean, she was like Tracy in this book. She was the most fun, but and like Tracy in this book, she fell in love with the wrong guy and had two great kids because of it. So it's hard to say. You know, you look back and you say, if only this, if only that, but there is no second chance. This is no dress rehearsal. It's the real thing. So, and I miss her all the time. I have another sister, my baby sister, Jerry. She was in entertainment. She was a singer. She's kind of retired a little bit now, but she lives over in Orlando, so I get to see her not real often, but often enough. Let's see what else. Sorry, Dad. Thank you, Sue, about saying about my sister. Yes, Judy, there's a serial, and I don't know. We'll see how Amazon feels about it, but hopefully there will be another one coming too about the mom because they have a very interesting, sweet mom. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Suzy. Suzy Homemaker says she lost a sister too, very young. It's very tragic. I'll tell you, there's a special bond between sisters. That's one of the reasons that I enjoyed writing about this so much. I think, you know, it's funny, and I saw a lot of myself and Donna in this book when I was writing about Tracy and Megan. Megan's a little like me. She was like, you give her responsibility, and she's like a dog with a bone. She's going to stay with it. Well, I'm the same way. I mean, you know, we can have a party, and I won't go to bed until I clean up the kitchen. It's just, there are people that are that way, and I'm one of them. And not necessarily that I chose to be. It's just in your DNA or something. But I enjoyed writing about the book because I saw those two different sides, much like it was in my own family. And one of the cool things that I thought about the relationship is, no matter how much you argue, and Donna and I argued constantly, we were thick as thieves, and we also argued all the time. And we always argued about who was thinner. And neither one of us were. We were the same size. But no matter how much you argue back and forth with your sister, you'd still do anything in the world for them. You really would, because that's how sisters are. You love them with all your heart, but by the same token, they drive you crazy. So that was the kind of feeling I wanted to get in there. Oh, Lisa Ann Oh, she lost her son in June. He was a light in the world. I'm so sorry, Lisa Ann. Any loss like that is just tragic, you know. So you have my sympathy. But that's kind of the thing I wanted to get across in that book. They were so different, the two girls, but by the same token, they would just do anything for each other. And I think that comes through. And you see it even again and more powerfully in the second book. So I'm anxious to get this out. It's coming out in October. So I already have a date, October 23rd. I have it on my calendar. I think it's a little early to start the countdown, though. I think I'll wait until maybe September and start the countdown. Let's see. Oh, Tony has two sisters. Yeah. So some of the other things, do I have any news that I can share about new books I'm working on? Yes, in addition to the one that's the sequel to this, that one is actually finished. I'm just doing the final editing. I'm working on a third book, but it's not of this series. It's a standalone, but it's set in Georgia, and it's kind of fun. It starts with the music festival in the 70s, and I know all you girls are much too young to remember that, but I thought it was really cool. I like doing something that's a little different than what everybody else does. And I thought, well, gee, I don't know any really cool books that are set around a music festival like that. It's a fiction, you know, and that's just the start of it. But it's kind of like a Woodstocky festival. And it's a mystery. And it's a family story and a mystery all rolled into one. So let's see now, who do we have? I keep leaning in because I'm reading the questions on the screen of my phone as well as on this computer here, but the computer is a little slower. I see a lot of girls. How many girls have sisters out there or brothers? And how's your relationship? Do you love your sister dearly? I know that it depends on which day you ask, right? Some days yes, some days not so much. Some of the things Linda asked was, let's see, I think I covered Suzy's. One of the things Linda asked was, what motivates me to write my stories? You know, it's the funniest thing. You would think that because sometimes I'm working like so late at night and everything, that I would say, oh, thank goodness I'm finished with this book, I'm done. Well, I do when I finish it. And then about a week goes by, and then I say, I got to write something. I love writing. It's like, I don't know, it's almost like the joy of reading only twice as much. And I do love to read. You and your husband are so in love. How do you keep your love alive? Do you know we're married over 30 years? And I'm very blessed. He's a great, great guy, I got to tell you. And I met him at a party. It was a business party. And I had laryngitis at the time, and I could hardly talk about whisper, talk like this. And he was there, and it was a bank that was opening a new branch. And he was standing in the middle of the room talking to his representative from the bank, and I went with my girlfriend. The bank was one of her accounts, and she said, oh, come on, go with me. I just don't want to go. I hate to go to these business functions alone. So I said, oh, okay. I said, I have laryngitis. I can't even talk above a whisper, but, you know, I'll come because I was a good friend. So I went, and I see this really cute guy standing in the middle of the room, and he's kind of watching me, and everything is, and there were offices all around the perimeter. And Sheila, my girlfriend, her representative was taking us from office to office and saying, oh, this office belongs to Joe and this office belongs to Frank, you know, and that kind of stuff. So when we finished the grand tour, we were on our own to just join the cocktail party and everything. So I walked over to this really cute guy standing in the middle of the room, and I said, do I know you from somewhere? Because you're looking at me like I should know you. And I'm not really that brave, to tell you the truth, but, you know, he was looking at me that way. So he said, I don't know, what business are you in? And we started up a conversation. And you know what? The truth is, both of us knew that we didn't know each other from anywhere because we would have remembered it. But he always says to me that same night he decided he was going to marry me. And he did, a year later. So I have a brother and two sisters. I'm closer to my brother. do you plan out the plot first? That's a tough thing. You know what? The smart thing, I have to tell you, the smart thing is to outline the whole book, and you know exactly where you're going, and that's where you go. Except that I've done about 4 or 5 times I've tried to outline a book, and I've outlined the whole book, and then I didn't follow the outline at all. I find that as I develop the characters, what happens is the characters get richer, and then I kind of know what they'll do or what they won't do. When I'm first outlining a book, I have no idea what's going to go through their mind, or if they're going to feel strongly about this or strongly about that. Characters. What careers have I had besides being an author? Okay, I'll get right to that. So, while I wish I could outline a book, I don't. I have a sketchy idea, and that sketchy idea tells me where I'm going to start and where I'm going to end up. And you know, the fun of it, I think, and the thing that makes it more spontaneous is the fact that all along the road, I can detour. And that's how I end up with all these other books that are part of the series. Because I detour and the character meets another character, and all of a sudden that other character is really interesting also. So I think that, no, I wish I could outline, but I don't. So yes, what careers have I had? Well, I started out as an artist. And I was on the drawing board, and I was designing soft goods packaging. And one of the salesmen said to me, I said, "Excuse me, sir," I was a kid then, I was just fresh out of college. I said, "Excuse me, sir, I need some copy for the back of this package." And the guy said, the salesmen hate detail work. They said, "Oh, just make something up, kid. Whatever you make up is okay." So I did. I started writing all this copy for the back of packages and everything. And then I went from there into marketing, and I really realized that I like working with words even better than I like, art or layouts and drawing. So I just went step by step, and I spent a good part of my career in marketing and advertising. I used to write business plans and write articles for business magazines, trade publications. And people used to say to me, "Gee, you're such a good writer. Why don't you think about writing a book?" And my answer was always, "I have nothing to write a book about." Who knew? This is like 20 books later. So I have 18 published, and now this makes it 19, and the one that's already being edited is 20. So I guess I did have something to write a book about. Oh, Patricia Sands, hi. Patricia and I are such good friends. I just love her to death. When she's in Florida, she's over on the West Coast, and we try to get together, and this year we didn't, and we think we both missed it very much. Thank you. Thank you about Patricia read the book, and she gave me a very beautiful quote on it, too. I love Patricia's work also. She writes about France, and, she makes it so enticing that because of Patricia, we did a home exchange with a couple in Paris, and we spent 3 weeks at their Paris apartment, and we gave them our home for 2 weeks. It was not a simultaneous time exchange. And I did it because Patricia made it so enticing. I couldn't resist. So if you get a chance, read her books. You will absolutely fall in love with France. And the only thing is, I'm warning you, it'll make you want to take a vacation there for sure. And there's always a beautiful love story involved, too. So that doesn't hurt. Let's see what else I have. Hi, Jill. Hi, Judy. Oh, my gosh, we have so many wonderful people here. This is so much fun. The comments scroll by sometimes, and I don't get to really see them all. I'm trying to, but, I'm blind as a bat. I mean, it's a good thing I have one good eye. Okay, that's Patricia's. So that's kind of, let's see, what motivates me to write my story. I told you that. I told you about my personal life, that my mom is one of the people that I use a lot in my characters. I love writing about my 2 favorite characters to write about are usually older people and children. And the reason why is they're so truthful. They just speak their mind. Older people are old enough that they really don't care what you think, so they feel free to speak their mind no matter what they want to say. My father-in-law used to do that. And I would come from the gym, and he'd say to me, "For Pete's sake, why don't you pull up your socks?" And I had those scrunch socks on. I'd say, "Oh, these aren't baggy, Dad. They're scrunch socks. They're scrunchy socks." He says, "Yeah, well, I call them sloppy." So, I like older people for that reason, that they speak their mind very openly, and they, tell the truth about what they feel. And I like kids because they're too young to know any different, so they speak their mind honestly too. So that's why I always enjoy writing about it. Usually in most books I have an older person or a child. Diane Carter, I have loved each book of yours that I have read so far. When I can afford it, I will be buying this lovely sounding new one. Oh, thank you. I hope you win one today, Diane. I have a lot of giveaways on there. Does anyone here listen to audiobooks? I'm going to see if I see any answers there. Thank you for your virtual hug, Patricia. Sugar is under the desk. She's holed up there, taking a nap. She has a hard day. She has to work. Let's see. This is a very good question. What do I do in my downtime for relaxation or hobby? I'm actually ashamed to say it. I do not have an actual hobby. I read. I'm not a big television watcher. I love getting together with friends. That's something I really, really enjoy. I enjoy getting together with friends, and I enjoy going out to dinner and doing something with my sweet hubby. I love to go to shows. Oh, thank you, Sherry. You're so sweet. Sherry said I have a delightful personality. That's only because she hasn't been around when I'm really cranky. But thank you. So I don't really have a hobby. And, I feel like such a dud sometimes when I hear about these people that are doing all this gardening and cooking and everything, because I'm like a pitiful cook. And I cook well if I'm cooking for holidays. I like that kind of cooking because that's a big fancy meal and it's something you can put together and there's a result of it. But everyday cooking is like, gee, you got to spend all this time cooking and all you're going to do is eat it. So as you can tell, I'm not a big eater probably, but luckily my husband is a really good cook. And the same about gardening. I will tackle a big project. That's what, if I maybe not, I don't have a day-to-day hobby, but I won't hesitate to paint a room or upholster a chair or make window treatments or something like that, because I guess I'm goal-oriented maybe, but, I like seeing the project and it's there and it's manageable and it's done. So that's the kind of things I like. But mostly my downtime is reading and spending time with friends. Oh, and shopping. Oh, I do love shopping. I really do. Even if I don't buy a thing. And sometimes there's plenty of times we go to the store. We don't do anything but wander around and buy ice cream or... Oh, yeah, an audio book is great on a long drive. We listen to them too on long drives. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot of hobbies. So mostly spending time with friends. That's always so relaxing for me. Audiobooks. I was going to tell you, Spirit Change came out in audiobooks. I wrote Spirit Change in 2011. That's when it was published, 2011. So it's a while back. But, it just recently went into audio. And the Wyattsville series, the first 3 books are in audio now. Or they're coming. I think they're doing them in production. And so when I got my copies, I started listening to it, and I just loved it. You'd think because I wrote the book that I wouldn't have much of an interest in listening to it, but that's really not true. I enjoyed it. The narrator is so good. She sounds exactly like I thought Olivia would sound. So I did get the option to approve the narrator, which was important to me because I wanted them to sound like I imagined the people would be. And it was a good choice because she was terrific. Yeah, Anne likes audiobooks too. Yeah, window shopping is a great hobby. Sometimes we go to the mall, we walk around, we look at everything that's new, and all we end up buying is an ice cream cone. But, fun day. Retail therapy. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Kathy Newton. She said congratulations on release day. And Dana talked about audiobooks are great on a long drive, or even listening to working around the house. And they are. I'm fuzzy about an audiobook, though. I don't like a whiny character. I don't like a whiny character in life either. But I think if you get a character that's too, oh, I did, you know, I don't care too much for that. So I must say I was happy. The girl, the woman that they have narrating Spirit Change, and she and the same woman and man are doing all three of the books in the Wyethville series, the first three books in the Wyethville series. So she's very good. She has a nice throaty voice, and she sounds like I think she should. Let's see, who else? I'm looking to see. Am I a coffee or tea drinker? If I could, I would be a coffee drinker, totally. No, not totally. I like tea too. But I have a stomach thing. I have IBS, and it's, it's a pain in the neck, and I have trigger foods. And if I know what my trigger foods are, I just try and stay away from them. So coffee is one. So in the morning, I have a big mug that I have, and I have like over half of it's water, and about 2/3 is water and about 1/3 is coffee. And that's all the coffee I have during the day. After that, I drink green tea. And I like green tea. That's good. Let's see. Oh, thank you, Ann Loomis Russell. Thank you for your congratulatory note. Let's see, is there anything I didn't cover? In case anyone really wants to know, I am also a candy lover, a sweets lover. I'm not huge on carbs. I'm okay with those, but that's not what I crave. If I'm looking to snack, I'm looking for something salty or sweet. That's basically it. Let's see, is there any other questions here? Linda, do you know of anything that I haven't answered or should? It's so much fun being here with everyone. It really is. I hope you all are enjoying it too. I'm having a ball for myself. I wish I could hear your voices too. Let's see. I think I've got all the questions. I have lots of giveaways on the thread. So all you have to do is scroll down. You'll see each one tells you, go here, do this or do that. If you do it, fine. But the giveaways are open and you can just sign up for them. But I'd love to have you follow me on BookBub and on Amazon. I'd love it if you follow me on Amazon. All you have to do is find my name, put in my name, and they'll take you to my author page. And then you can just click follow. And then they let you know when I have any books on sale, which is really great. Or if I have a new release coming out. And I think, Amazon likes to see their authors popular with readers. So it would help. And the same BookBub is another one to follow on. And you get some great sale tips from BookBub. They send a mailer every day with like the best books that are on sale. I get BookBub every day, and I have found so many new authors that I love from BookBub ads. Let's see. So, yeah, good luck to everyone on the giveaways. There's a whole bunch of them there, and and Linda, I think, is going to leave them open all day, so you can stop back, and, there's no rush. And if you follow me on Facebook, you can friend me on my Facebook page, and I'll accept your friend, because I enjoyed being friends with the readers. And you can also follow my author page if you want to. I'm having a party on Thursday, and it's the Summer of New Beginnings release party is what it's called. And you can find the link to that on my either my author page or my personal page. So you're welcome to join us there. We're going to do more giveaways there, and it's going to be an all-day party. I'm going to be live again at 7 p.m. in the evening. because lots of people work during the day. I keep thinking back to Jubilee. It has to be one of my favorites. Yeah, that was one of the books. That's one of the books that I'm giving away in the paperback. One more question. Are you in any book clubs with your friends? Yes, I am. We have a big book club. We have about 20 people in our book club. And the funny thing, they're not the ones that read my books. I think because I usually just gift them a copy to my friends. And I think it would feel kind of, they couldn't have a discussion if I was sitting there. We can open a bottle of champagne and celebrate or something, but they can't really say, well, I didn't like this or I didn't like that. Because then I'd pour salt in their champagne or something. Not really. But yeah, we have a great time. Always good to know favorite authors, Bette. Yeah, it is fun. I like it too. I love my author friends. I just met so many wonderful, wonderful friends. If you guys haven't had a chance, read some of Christine Nolte's books. They're just wonderful. Patricia Sands is wonderful. Grace Green writes some delightful stories. I had the chance to read her latest book, Memory of Butterflies, when it was in ARC, and I just loved it. It's a southern setting, so, it was right up my alley. But, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Does anybody have anything more that they'd like me to talk about? I'd love to have you stop by, and if you'd like to visit my blog, that's a great place. You can find out everything you ever wanted to know or didn't even want to bother knowing on my blog. It's easy. It's www. And then it's BetteLeeCrosby.com. It's BetteLee Crosby CROSBY.com. So that's pretty easy to get to, and I'm sure Linda will post something later on. If I haven't worn out my welcome by now. Let's see. Thank you again for this afternoon. It's my pleasure, Sherry. I don't have any other questions that I see here, so I guess I'm probably going to wind up and say thank you to everyone for coming, and I've had a wonderful time. It's been great seeing everyone here. And hi, Diane, Dick. It's great to see you. I see some of my followers here, and it's so wonderful. If you're interested, I do have a fan club. Just message me, and I'll give you the password to get in on Facebook. And we talk about books, but we talk about everything. We talk about recipes and clothes and what we're doing this weekend. So, almost anything. I want to say a special thank you to both Linda of Linda's Book Obsession. She's not only a great blogger, she's really a terrific woman. And it's my pleasure to know her. And also Suzy Approved Book Reviews. I approached Suzy, I think I saw her on Instagram and approached her, and she read Spare Change, and then I think she's read other ones since then. But her too, they're such great book bloggers. I'm so honored that I can be here today with them hosting a party for me. So, hi Julie, thank you for coming. So with this, I'll say goodbye, and I just hope everybody will stop over to Amazon and help me to celebrate my big release day, and I'd love to have you buy the book and share it with your friends and read it. And if you're part of Kindle Unlimited, it is available to read through Kindle Unlimited. So don't hesitate. Any way you read it is fine with me. But I'd love to have you share it with your friends if you don't mind. Okay, I guess that is it. Okay, Linda says that she'll leave this up all day today and tomorrow. So the giveaways will be open all day today and tomorrow. Oh, and you know what? I'll have something else. I'll have a special bookmark that I'll put up as a special giveaway to those who were here in the group live today. Okay? It's a old world beaded bookmark. And it's really cute. Everybody needs a good bookmark. Okay. Bye, girls. Thank you for coming, and thank you for hosting me. It was a wonderful afternoon. Love you all. Bye.